100 years, science said breaking the 4-minute mile would kill a person. Heart explosion. Game over.
Yet today, high school runners do it. So what changed? Not our bodies, our minds.
And if you've ever thought, I'll never speak English fluently, you are stuck in the exact same trap. Let's break you out.
Before 1954, this wasn't just a sports record. It was a dogma, a scientific fact. Experts called it the lethal barrier.
Dogma. Okay, friends, let's look at this word. Dogma. It's a noun. It means a belief or a principle that a group of people accepts as 100% true, so strong that nobody dares to question it. People just follow it blindly. Let's see some examples. Example 1. I grew up with the dogma that you need a university degree to be successful, but I don't believe that anymore. Example 2. Don't just follow the dogma of old grammar books. Try to speak like real people do.
Honestly, I hear it every day. People tell me I'm too old, or I don't live in London, so I'll never be fluent. It's like they have these mental walls that they just accept as absolute truth.
Exactly. And the worst part is, every time they try to study and fail, it just reinforces that myth in their head. The more they fail, the more that wall grows until the whole goal of speaking English feels completely insurmountable.
Let's look at those two words Alex just used. Reinforce, meaning to make an idea or a feeling stronger. Example, seeing his progress every day reinforced his belief that he could actually become fluent. And another word is insurmountable, meaning something that feels impossible to overcome. Example, the language barrier felt insurmountable at first, but after a month of practice, it started to disappear.
Then came Roger Bannister. He wasn't a full-time athlete, he was a medical student, and he used his studies to hack the problem.
He realized the barrier wasn't physical, it was psychological. A hurdle, not a wall. And this is the life-changing skill. He reframed the problem.
But wait, friends, do you actually know the meaning of hurdle? Or how about reframe? These aren't just vocabulary words. Hurdle, meaning a problem or difficulty that you must overcome, like a fence you jump over in a race. Natural example, don't let one bad conversation be a wall. See it as just a small hurdle on your journey. Another word is to reframe, meaning to change your perspective or the way you frame a situation in your mind. Natural example, instead of saying, I have to study, reframe it as, I get to grow today.
Let's reframe an English problem right now. The old frame. I'm terrified of speaking because I'll make mistakes.
The new frame, every mistake is a gift that shows me exactly what to learn next. I need to make more mistakes to improve.
Bannister broke the record. But the magical thing? Within 2 months, another runner did it. Within a year, 4 more. The human body didn't evolve in 46 days.
The limiting belief was shattered. They were liberated. Liberated means set free. The barrier was self-imposed all along, created and enforced by their own minds.
This is the domino effect of mindset. When you break your own mental barrier in English, when you send that first voice note, join that club you prove it's possible. You become your own proof.
The year was 1954, but for the world of athletics, it felt like the end of time. The air at the track in Oxford was damp and heavy. Roger Bannister stood at the starting line, his chest tightening not from the cold, but from the weight of a century of failure. For over 100 years, the 4-minute mile wasn't just a record, it was a dogma. Doctors had written papers about it. Scientists had measured the human heart and concluded it would literally explode if a man tried to run that fast. It was an absolute truth that no one dared to question. As Roger looked down the red clay of the track, he didn't just see a race, he saw a wall. In the stands, the crowd whispered. They weren't waiting for a miracle, They were waiting to see a man hit his limit. This is the same feeling many of us have when we open an English textbook. We look at the complex grammar and the native speeds, and we feel that same dogma whispering in our ears. You aren't a natural. You started too late. This goal is insurmountable. Roger took a deep breath. He was a medical student, not just an athlete. He knew the biology, but more importantly, he knew the psychology. He knew that every time a runner tried and failed to hit 3:59, it only served to reinforce the myth. Every failure was another brick in the wall, making the goal seem more insurmountable than the day before. The starter pistol fired. Crack! Roger's legs moved like pistons. Beside him, his pacemakers pushed the wind out of his way. By the second lap, his lungs began to burn. His mind started to scream the old scripts. Stop. It's impossible. Your heart can't take this. This is the hurdle we all face. It's that moment in a conversation when you forget a word and your brain tells you to go silent. But Roger had learned a secret skill. He knew how to reframe the pain. He didn't see the burning in his chest as a sign of death. He saw it as the feeling of a barrier cracking. He reframed the struggle into a bridge toward the finish line. As he turned the final corner, the crowd rose to their feet. He wasn't running against other men anymore. He was running against a scientific fact. With one final, agonizing burst of energy, he crossed the line and collapsed. The announcer's voice crackled over the speakers. The time, 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. The stadium erupted. The impossible had happened. The lethal barrier was gone. But the most incredible part of the story isn't Roger's race. It's what happened next. For decades, men had tried and failed. But once Roger broke the record, the spell was broken. Just 46 days later, another runner did it. Within a year, 4 more. Within a few years, hundreds of people were doing it. The human body hadn't evolved in those 46 days. The lungs hadn't gotten stronger, and the legs hadn't gotten longer. What changed was that the runners were liberated. They were set free from the belief that it couldn't be done. When you realize that your struggle with English isn't a lack of talent, but a self-imposed barrier, you become like those runners. Once you reframe your mistakes as gifts and jump over that first hurdle, the domino effect begins. You stop being a student struggling with a language, and you start being a person who has already won. Roger Bannister didn't just break a record. He proved that the walls in our minds are much thinner than we think.